Welcome to Elderly Cares. There are some things in life that are better left unsaid, especially after 65. Sharing too much can lead to stress, unnecessary opinions, and even conflicts with family. But what should you actually keep to yourself? In this video, I'll reveal 5 important secrets you should never share after 65. Number 3 might surprise you. 1. Your financial decisions and assets. One of the most sensitive topics as we age is money. You might think that being completely open about your financial situation with your family will prevent misunderstandings, but in reality, it often creates more problems than it solves. Sharing every detail about your savings, investments, or even how much you've set aside for the future can lead to unsolicited advice, pressure, or even family conflicts, especially when different generations have different views on money. Some family members may mean well, but their concerns or opinions can start to feel like interference. And in some unfortunate cases, people who were once distant suddenly become very interested in your finances once they realize what you have. You might have seen it happen before. Someone in your age group shares their financial plans with their children only to find that their decisions are questioned at every turn. Maybe you've seen a friend deal with constant pressure about how they should spend their money, whether it's being told they should downsize, invest differently, or set aside more for grandchildren. It's one thing to get advice when you ask for it, but when people start thinking they have a say in your personal choices, it can quickly become frustrating. And the reality is, once you let people in on your full financial picture, you can't take that knowledge back. There's also the matter of personal control. If your family starts seeing you as someone who's not making the best financial decisions, they might feel justified in stepping in, sometimes with good intentions, but not always in a way that respects your independence. You might hear comments like, "Are you sure you should be spending that much?" Or, "Wouldn't it be smarter to give some of that away now instead of later?" And even if no one directly pressures you, just knowing that others are watching and analyzing your choices can feel uncomfortable. This doesn't mean you should never talk about finances with your family. It's smart to have clear estate plans and to communicate necessary details when the time is right. But you don't have to share everything. The exact amount of money you have, what you spend on yourself, or even whether you've made a new investment. These are things that are yours to manage. If keeping some financial matters private allows you to enjoy your life without unnecessary opinions or pressure, then that's not secrecy, it's wisdom. 2. Your health concerns that are not urgent. As we age, it's natural to experience more health issues, and sometimes we feel the urge to share every little ache, pain, or discomfort with family. After all, they care about us, and we want them to know what's going on. But there's a difference between keeping loved ones informed about important medical matters and overwhelming them with every minor issue. Constantly sharing every little health concern can sometimes create unnecessary worry, stress, or even lead family members to start making decisions for you before it's necessary. You might have experienced this before, mentioning a small issue like joint pain or fatigue, and suddenly finding yourself in the middle of a debate about whether you should see a doctor, change your diet, or take a new supplement. Family members, especially younger ones, often mean well, but their concern can turn into pressure. Before you know it, they're researching treatments, scheduling appointments, or even making comments like, "You really need to take better care of yourself," as if you haven't been managing your own health for decades. There's also a psychological side to this. If you constantly talk about your health issues, even the minor ones, your family may begin to see you as someone who is declining faster than you really are. They might start treating you differently, assuming that you're more fragile or incapable than you actually feel. And once people see you in that light, it can be difficult to change their perception. Suddenly, they're hesitant to include you in certain activities, questioning your ability to travel, or suggesting that maybe you need extra help, when all you did was mention that your knees were aching more than usual that day. Of course, it's important to communicate major health concerns, especially when they impact daily life or require family support. But choosing to keep minor issues to yourself doesn't mean you're being dishonest. It simply means you're protecting your own autonomy. You have the right to manage your health without unnecessary interventions or stress. Sometimes silence is the best way to maintain control over your own well-being. 3. Your true thoughts on family conflicts. Family dynamics can be complicated, and as we get older, we often find ourselves in the middle of situations we never asked to be part of. Siblings arguing over an inheritance, adult children holding grudges, extended family members who don't get along. These things happen in almost every family. When you've lived long enough, you've seen patterns repeat, old wounds resurface, and history repeat itself. It's tempting to step in, offer advice, or share exactly what you think about who's right and who's wrong. But more often than not, doing so only adds fuel to the fire. Maybe you've experienced this before, trying to mediate a dispute only to find that both sides suddenly turn against you. Or you offer a strong opinion, thinking you're helping, only to realize later that your words were taken the wrong way. The hard truth is that family conflicts have a way of sorting themselves out, or not, regardless of your input. And when people finally do move on, they tend to remember what was said in the heat of the moment. If you take sides or express a strong opinion, you might find that even after the argument is long forgotten, the resentment toward you still lingers. That's why one of the wisest things you can do after 65 is to practice selective silence. You don't have to agree with everything or pretend problems don't exist, but you also don't have to comment on every family situation. 4. Your future plans that may change life. After 65 is full of possibilities, but not everything you plan needs to be announced. Whether it's moving to a new place, starting a new hobby, or even making a big life decision, keeping your future plans to yourself until they are certain can prevent unnecessary opinions and interference. 5. Your personal beliefs and controversial opinions. There are certain topics, like politics, religion, or social issues, that can create unnecessary divisions. Sometimes it's best to keep your personal beliefs to yourself, especially if sharing them would lead to conflict rather than understanding.